Të dashur teleshikues të televizionit të shqiptarëve të Amerikës, është kënaqësi që këtu në një nga sallat e kishës së Shën Palit kemi mikun e shqiptarëve, kongresmenin Levin, i cili ka ardhur të prezantojë një kandidat për të zgjedhur për Kongresin për distriktin e 14, pikërisht zotin Rudy Hobbs. Për të diskutuar për këtë, ne do të intervistojmë mikun ton të njohur, kongresmenin Levin, por natyrisht të paraqesim edhe Rudyn Hobbs si një kandidat për Kongresin e Shtetet Bashkuara, i cili mbulon një zonë të mirë të qytetit të Detroitit edhe të Pontiacut dhe të zonave të tjera si West Bloomfield. First start with you, well known in the Albanian community, Congressman Sandy Levin. So you, as a friend of the Albanian, are coming here to present a new friend of the Albanians.
Absolutely.
And
actually, Rudy, when he was in our district office, undoubtedly worked on immigration issues relating to this community. So he's worked on a lot of issues of Congress, and so with everybody's help, he will be an outstanding member who starts with a head start in terms of federal issues. We were talking around the table about these serious immigration issues and the failure for us in Washington, mainly, if I might say so, because the Republicans are blocking immigration reform. And it's one of many issues, economic issues, and Rudy will be an outstanding member. He's in a primary, and the more people know Rudy, the more they're for him.
We all know the immigration reform. What is the situation right now? We're seeing some problems with the younger people coming from South Latin America. So to talk to the Albanian community, and you can talk directly to the camera, what are your points of view in order to resolve immigration reform, in order people not to be deported and families not to be divided?
This is a really important issue, for the United States, for a lot of ethnic communities. What we need to have in D.C. now more than ever, we need to have leaders. People who are willing to step up and make tough decisions. Be at the table, have the conversations, and move these very difficult issues forward, because moving immigration forward means a great deal to our country's future, to secure our future. I talk about this being an economic issue, but it's also an issue for families, uniting families and making sure that they have opportunities here in the United States. And those are the things that, as a Democrat, as someone who grew up in Southfield in a very diverse community, I can appreciate. Really embracing every community in this country. And we need to have people to have that type of perspective, that type of commitment to our communities, to our country, to make sure that we push this issue forward.
Well, on your point of view, what is the worst thing that you need to be changed right away in order to resolve this immigration issue? Which is the main objective or the main change that need to be done?
The main thing that needs to be done to really push it forward, at this point, I think we just have to have, again, I talk about the caliber of leadership that we need to have at the table, the type of individuals that we need to have involved in this discussion to move it forward. This is an 82% Democratic seat. We could send someone way far to the left, to D.C. in the seat, but we need to send people who can work in a bipartisan way to get things done. That's the group of people that we need to build in D.C., this bipartisan group. We need to have people who can work across the aisles, who's skilled, who's done that, who's proven. And that's the Democratic floor leader in Lansing. I had to work across the aisles many times to get, key pieces of legislation moved. But those are the type of individuals that we need to have in D.C., and that's what we're missing. We're missing people who can work together to get difficult issues passed.
Now, recently, President Obama is asking for $4 billion just to resolve the crisis of the young people coming from Latin America in the United States. And Republicans are saying that this is created from the way how President Obama handled this issue.
That's so wrong. The people who are coming here from Central America, they're mostly women, mothers with their children. They're coming here and they get to the border and they don't try to sneak in. They're coming within a law that was passed before President Obama was president. The law of 2008 essentially says that when people come from Mexico at the border, they can be sent immediately back. Under the 2008 law, that's not true of children and single mothers who come from Central America. So we need to discuss how you handle that problem. We can't simply have everybody who wants to come to the U.S. to be able to do so. No one's suggesting that. But this is a nation of immigrants and a nation of refugees. This community knows what it is to seek asylum. The Albanian American community knows what it's like to flee from danger. And so we have to have a system so that when people come here, in this case from Central America, there is an effort quickly to determine whether there is a legitimate basis for their seeking asylum. And that's why more funds are needed. And the Republicans, they're opposed to this partly because they're opposed to President Obama, whatever. But also, as Rudy Hobbs has made clear, we need to act. The Senate passed a bipartisan immigration bill. It has been sitting there all of these months. If the Republican speaker would put the immigration bill that passed the Senate, as Rudy pointed out, on a bipartisan basis, it would pass the House. And some of the provisions in that bill would have related to this issue of the people who are coming here from Central America. So we're paying a high price because Republicans in the House simply have this attitude about immigration, and they just cannot get themselves together to realize there's a problem that needs to be solved.
Most of the Albanians here have small businesses, like restaurants and other businesses. Mm-hmm. So, on your point of view, how you can help those businesses grow further? Most of them don't want to pay high taxes, so that's the main concern.
Small business is absolutely critical, to every one of our communities. We have to make sure that we're being very supportive and having a really open door, open dialogue with our small business owners to figure out what they need. And as a state representative, I interact with the business community quite often. As a matter of fact, we picked up the Detroit Regional Chamber endorsement. For this race. So we've had a great relationship with the business community. But, access to capital, it's those type of things. How do you grow a business? When you start it, you want to continue to grow. You want to have access to capital. You want to be able to work with your community banks. You want to be able to work with the credit unions so that you can get loans in the larger banks. And, as a congressman, I feel like it'll be my role to make sure that I'm leveraging my relationships, with business leaders, not only in the financial services, but in other important industries to making sure that we're growing our small businesses. I am a very business-friendly Democrat. I've been, again, very supportive. Won Legislator of the Year 4 times, my first 2 years in office as a state representative. One from the Michigan Municipal League, but also from BOMA, the Building Owners and Managers Association. So, we've been supported by business for years as a state representative, but looking forward to building that relationship as a congressman.
Okay, another thing, what can you tell to our audience about who is Rudy Hobbs?
Yeah, I'm an extremely hard worker. I'm a father. I'm a father of 3 beautiful daughters. My oldest daughter is 19, 14, and a 12-year-old, husband of 18 years. And it's my experience as a teacher, as a first grade teacher on the east side of Detroit that really, got me into politics, sparked my interest, understanding how politics and policy and those who make those policies, how important it is to have good people, at the table making policy. And that's what has inspired me. I have a great mentor in Congressman Sandy Levin, great supporter, great friend. And it's those type of relationships that has helped really mold me into the type of legislator I am today. And that's hardworking, very thoughtful, and hungry and fearless. And I always like to say fearless because, when I get out there and I fight for a community, when I fight for an issue, I want to make sure that we're actually moving the needle on those issues that I get out front on.
We wish all the best, and we hope the Albanian community will embrace you like the Congressman Levin for the next elections at the 14th Congressional District. Të dashur teleshikues, këtu shkëputëm një moment nga ky moment prezantimi I kandidatit për Kongres për distriktin e 14, zotin Rudy Hobbs, I sjell këtu përpara audiencës shqiptare nga kongresmeni miku I njohur I shqiptarëve, Sandy Levin, se dy vëllezërit Levin janë miq të mirë të komunitetit shqiptar për shumë kohësh, e kanë dëshmuar atë me veprimtarinë e tyre në Kongres edhe me ndihmën që kanë dhënë komunitetit shqiptar në çdo hap, duke filluar që nga hapi I parë çështjes I vezaj, këtu kemi edhe Pietrin edhe miq të tjerë, do që kjo shërben për të treguar komunitetit shqiptar se edhe tek Rudy do të gjeni një mik të vërtet, ashtu si tek kongresmeni Levin. Atëherë, miru takofshim në zgjedhje, në takojmë sërish edhe në fundraiser të tjerë që mund të organizohen këtu në kishën e Shëmpalit në javët që vijnë. Miru takofshim dhe
Vote for Rudy.
Vote for Rudy.